Hello and welcome to another day of the Global Littlewargame League 2024. Today I'm bringing you a quarterfinals match from the Alpha League. It's going to be between Avocadolord and bScherm. As a reminder, here is the map pool. And yeah, so this is gonna be a matchup. It's gonna be Avocadolord, Wolf Snake Enjoyer, very high up in the ladder, all the way in Gamma League. And his opponent is going to be bScherm, solid player, one of the newest additions to the dev team. We'll see if bScherm can give avocadolord a run for his money. Yeah, let's actually just hop straight into it. The first, I don't have the vetoes. I don't have the map choices, unfortunately, but the first map is going to be on Xenos. And spawning in the bottom left-hand side of the map, it's going to be Avocadolord. Avocadolord did pretty well in his group. Took down Python, took down Madurg, and did not have to play Slammer in his group. So, yeah, some very nice showings out of Avocadolord. In the top right-hand side, it's going to be his opponent, bScherm. bScherm also did pretty well. Did lose the first bout against Nigat, but was able to take revenge in the rematch. And then also lost to Weird Rat, which is no shame. But yeah, we'll see how this map is going to pan out. So we're on Xenos. So Xenos is a very peculiar map because 3 bases are kind of hard to take, especially because cata drops are really prevalent on either third. So you can cata drop this third from this high ground. Also, you can do the same from here. A little bit of a mystery match, it seems like, as both players are talking to each other. Perhaps some of them have done their homework. Maybe not. We'll see. We have a racks opening from both sides. bScherm versus Avocadolord, both of them. We do have something really interesting. I do like this. Avocadolord completely negates the potential for a tower rush. This is a very common tower rush spot if you're playing on this map. So that is definitely something to be aware of. And Avocadolord says that's just not going to happen. The downside of this is that you are going to have a harder time, just SimCity wise. But that shouldn't be a huge issue if in the racks versus racks mirror. A little bit of pre-game banter, or not pre-game, but in-game banter, I guess. And we'll see if both players are going to go for that Raider expand. We have a Raider and a Raider. Okay, so we have a Raider opening mirror matchup. bScherm is going to go scout around just a little bit to see if there's any sort of proxy. Just making sure everything is all fine and dandy. So Raider Wars is pretty interesting. I'm not a huge fan of it, but there is a little bit of micro that you can do to get the advantage against your opponent. For example, one of the key things is that if you flash on top of your opposing Raider, you are guaranteed to get the first hit. So that's something that players will, for example, if you're 1 hit away from dying, you move away, and then if you flash on top of the opposing Raider first, you get the first shot, and you get the win there. We have bScherm's Raider going up on the top side of the map. We have Avocadolord's on the bottom side, and they're just going to cross paths. Avocadolord going for a castle, and bScherm will be doing the same. I much prefer bScherm's SimCity here, just because this is a little bit unfortunate. You have this ability to completely wall this off if need be. Looks like with the 2 Raiders here, bScherm needs to flash to try to get this. Does not actually flash. Now he's only fighting 1v1. He could have been fighting 2v1 there. Does flash over there, does not get the second hit. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Here you need to A-move. Okay. Good juking and jiving out of Avocadolord, but does get a hit. And I think this Raider should go down. There we go. That is a win for bScherm. Very nice. Very, very nice. That's an early advantage. Avocadolord stuck a little bit on his side of the map. Didn't see that first raider, and was still aggressive with his first raider, and was led into a 2v0 situation, or 2v1, excuse me, situation. And bScherm taking that. Both players also going for a second Rax. Very interesting. This is something I did not expect, but that's just something that's going to happen. So we're going to have essentially a mirror matchup. We have archers being produced for avocadolord now after the 2 raiders, but it's actually 3 because he lost one, whereas bScherm was quicker to transition into those archers. Right now only has 1, but has also an additional Rax coming, so that's going to be, very interesting. It's going to be 3 Rax versus 2, and very often 3 is greater than 2. The raider advantage, though, is pretty nice if you have it, but both players are on the same number of raiders at the moment. But that does mean because avocadolord did lose that first raider, he will have less archers. Simple maths. I do think this is really interesting. bScherm has cut workers, which means it leads me to believe that he is going to go for A2 base, some sort of big push. This is a little bit sloppy having that one archer in the front before, without, it's just being picked off for free. At the same time, bScherm trying to do a little bit of damage. You need to flash away there. That's a big mistake. The second one also will go down. So that is absolutely... that's something you cannot be doing in this sort of game. Perhaps a little bit of nerves, a little bit of inattention from bScherm here. Losing on both sides. Did lose a archer for free here. Did lose both of his raiders here. Only got a single worker. That is definitely unfortunate. And once again, I do want to draw your attention to the fact that bScherm is no longer producing any workers. He's going to be on a grand total of 13. It should have been, I believe it should have been 14, but he lost one. Yep, there we go. And he will just be pumping out archer after archer and trying to go for a big push. avocadolord was also able to see this Rax, I believe. That's the wrong one. There we go. Does know that there are at least 2 Rax. So one of the things that bScherm could have done potentially is kept that Rax on the high ground just to be a little bit more hidden. But yeah, bScherm is going to gear up to do a bit of a 2 base all-in. We're going to see if avocadolord is going to be able to deal with that. With 2 racks worth of production and a good advantage early on with those raiders. Not early on, but like in the past little while with those raiders, I think he'll be totally fine. One thing to note is that this map is also devastatingly hard to push up into if your opponent is set up on the high ground. That's why oftentimes I would suggest not going straight up the middle, but perhaps taking a little detour. Yeah, if this fight happens just right over here, this is going to be really good for avocadolord. But instead, avocadolord is going to go ahead. A little bit of a better concave here for bScherm that might come into effect. Avocadolord going to go up onto the high ground. These 2 raiders picking off reinforcements, which is absolutely the correct call for avocadolord. And yeah, there comes that ramp vision. A good target fire out of avocadolord as well. bScherm going to target fire now, but that's going to be a little bit too late. One of those raiders did fall, but that's still delaying all the reinforcements. And despite having only 2 barracks to the 3, avocadolord holds very well, and that is going to be game 1 to avocadolord. Very nice. Let's head straight into the next game. Game 2 is going to be on ice cold. Update the score. Look at that. Production value. In the top right-hand side, up 1 game with an excellent hold in that against that 2 base all-in. It's going to be avocadolord. And in the bottom left-hand side of Ice Cold, the player who got a little bit of an advantage early on, but was unable to capitalize on that. Did get a free raider, but still lost the game. It's bScherm. Yeah, that was definitely an unfortunate one for bScherm. I think he got that early advantage with that first raider kill, and then with that he didn't really do too much. Like, he threw it away because he lost the 2 raiders across the map while taking damage on his side of the map against the 2 raiders of avocadolord. And yeah, that's just how it is. And then it wasn't avocadolord being like a greedy play where he goes for third base off of just 1 Rax. He played it very, very standard. He played standard, quote unquote. He played pretty safe, I think. The 2 Racks, just ensuring that he has enough units to deal with everything, and he just was fine from there, essentially. So yeah, both players here going for that Rax opening again. So it looks like we're going to have another one of those Rax mirrors. This is really interesting to me, though. Like, I really think, in my mind, avocadolord is a wool snake user. That's the sort of play style that he's really good at. But the fact that he's going for all these Rax openings is really, really interesting to me. Like, it's either a sign that he doesn't have that confidence in the early game versus raiders with the beast units, or maybe he's saying, oh, I think just my raider micro is actually better, or maybe he thinks 1 Rax expand is just a safer build all around. Anyways, raider expand for both players, it looks like, so far. Interesting to see bScherm is gonna scatter around, just playing it ultra safe. Very nice. Avocadolord did cut a worker, which means that you are going to get the castle slightly faster. You are going to have less workers, though, and I believe you do catch up very quickly with the extra worker. Another thing to note is that if you go for cutting at 11 workers, it's while you're building your castle, you have, like, you build 3 raiders, essentially, up to 3, and then you'll go up to, like, 17, and then you can build a worker for 18, and then another raider for 20. So that's just kind of how it works. bScherm being very safe with this first raider. Really interesting. I'm not sure why, what the reasoning is. I would have said maybe you just keep that on front. Maybe he's going to try to do that trap thing again. Yeah. So it worked last game where he hid that first raider on his side of the map. Well, he was scouting around with it. But he essentially turned that into a 2v1 on his side of the map. Looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. This is a very nice innovation. I do like it. But avocadolord probably can quickly escape. Okay, so bScherm tries to cut off that escape path, but avocadolord well aware with that. Gonna try to slither his way out the other side. He can double flash to get a hit. You can flash again. There you go. And you might be able to get that additional hit as well. I think eventually that will go down. Eventually, because of pathing and how A moves works. I guess the thing that avocadolord can try to do is try to go up a ramp. But yeah, it will eventually go down. Might not even have to burn this flash. Oh, some nice juking and jiving. But it is indeed gonna go down. So, excellent start once again for bScherm, winning the Raider War and giving himself a little bit of an early lead. This is a very interesting tactic. I haven't seen a lot of it, honestly, but that's something that maybe you might want to, put in your back pocket. Just hide the first raider and turn the opposing first raider into a 2v1 situation and get a free kill. We have a fortress on the way for bScherm, so aiming to go for dragons, it looks like. Whereas avocadolord skipping that second Rax this time around, just gonna stay on 1 Rax. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for a castle in the near future. We have these 2 raiders coming in, and we have 2 raiders gonna catch a raider over here on this side of the map. You can double flash to get that, honestly. Yeah, flash, nice. Then you might be able to get it with the additional flash as well. Ooh, a little bit of a miscontrol, but that's okay. That is 2 raiders down for free so far, and a good hold on this side of the map as well. bScherm looking very strong in this game, in the Raider Wars. avocadolord doesn't have anything at home, but is still Okay, gonna force those 2 raiders back from bScherm. He wants to chase down these raiders. Tries to target down a weak worker. Is gonna get it, but that is at the cost of a ton of HP, and that means that these retreating raiders will be able to clean them up potentially if they are able to find them. It's an excellent play. I really like this. bScherm getting the advantage in the early game, both games, 2 games in a row. So maybe if you're avocadolord after you see these first 2 games, you think, okay, maybe my Raider micro isn't actually as good as I thought. Maybe I shouldn't go for this sort of racks opening. I don't know. Maybe that's something. Avocadolord at the same time is going to go for 2 Wolves Den, so transitioning into Beast. Good surround with the archers as well. Going to take down those 2 raiders. Very nice. At the same time, we have the Dragon's Lair and an additional Dragon's Lair, so double Dragon's Lair coming in for bScherm. 2 base play out of both players so far. And avocadolord, of course, is not pleased at that, at how the initial stages of the game has gone so far. So the thing about losing those raiders is it's not just losing on the units, you're also losing out on the scouting. If you had those raiders alive, you might be able to come into the main base here and try to get some scouting information on those dragon's layers. But because they are down, there's no such scouting. Avocadolord aiming to take a 3rd base. Looks like that is not going to be happening. Good denial with those 2 raiders. Avocadolord is going to show those wolves, which means bScherm knows what's up. Is just going to back away. I don't think this is a bad decision. I actually like this decision very much. Those wolves potentially could get a big surround, and that would be absolutely huge. You could throw away your lead. You have those dragons on the way, so I think just doing this pulling back is a great idea. Is gonna leave an archer behind just to check that 3rd base. I would have preferred if that was a raider, just because it's able to just run away a little bit easier. He's gonna pull that back. And okay, so avocadolord did make an additional raider. I think that's a great idea. He needs to use this to get that scouting information. He needs to know there's no 3rd base. So then he has to think, okay, what is it if it's not a 3rd base? Scout into the main and see those dragon's lairs. But the first one is already out. Looks like bScherm is gonna wait. Okay, not going immediately across the map as of yet because it hasn't been scouted, right? So the later this gets scouted, the less time your opponent has to come up with a response. And the more harder it hits, because it's not just one dragon that you have to deal with, it's multiple dragons. So very nice play out of bScherm, especially because it hasn't been scouted. This raider of avocadolord is going to be hunted down by these 2 raiders. bScherm has been doing a very excellent job of just playing with these raiders, doing this sort of surround that he wants to try to get. Is going to get that raider. So far, we have a grand total of 5 raiders going down for avocadolord to 0 of bScherm. bScherm's lost a single worker, so this is just some excellent play out of bScherm here. We have that 3rd base completing for avocadolord with the worker transfer. bScherm is still pulling up these dragons, has 3 of them, now has 4. Looks like he's going to go across the map with 4 of them. All right, we'll see how this pans out. Makes the 5th one popping just right now as well. This is a pretty sizable army, but there's no anti-air. So avocadolord needs to do a huge amount of damage with this and hopefully win the game, or at least buy enough time so that he has something to deal with these dragons. Dragons show their face, and he's gonna probably wants to target down those archers rather than the wolves. Yeah, there we go. Does lose a raider. That's a little bit sloppy because it did have that flash. The wolves do kind of get a surround. They're gonna try to take down these archers. At the same time, we have that advanced workshop coming up on the way. Does cancel the the animal testing lab at the same time. Good pullback out of bScherm, but it is going to be targeted down by avocadolord, but there is just not enough anti-air at the moment. There are still 4 dragons with more on the way. Please prove me wrong. But yeah, he still has this threat of 5 dragons in the air, and there is nothing that shoots up other than Just literally nothing. So there's just nothing. He has nothing to deal with this. He's going to try to go for a counterattack, which I believe is the correct call, but it might be a little bit too late. Going to try to target down this tower. This is a very good move. One thing that not most people, a lot of people don't know is that you can target down the towers, and GG is called. Avocadolord taps out. Some good hidden dragon play. Good call on bScherm's part just to just pull them up without actually showing them immediately, and also some excellent raider micro, going up 5 raiders killed to 0, translating into a victory for bScherm. Very nice. All right, we'll head to game 3, which is going to be played on Thieves' Isle. So let's take a look. Spawning in the top left-hand side of the map, with some unfortunate raider control, being outplayed in the early game there, and then not having the scouting, it's avocadolord. We need to fix the scores here. Bam, look at that. And in the bottom right-hand side, with some excellent early game control and a good dragon transition, it's bScherm. bScherm talking a little bit about that wolf archer thing, hockeys being weird and stuff like that, which I totally get, but it's something that people have been trying out. I do think personally that wolf archer can be very good, especially if you get a big surround. So the idea is you get a surround with the wolves, and then your archers do the damage. But unfortunately for avocadolord in that last game, he just did not have any anti-air. He was blindsided by those dragons because of the loss of those raiders in the early game. Avocadolord saying he likes Wolf Snake, but he also likes Rax openings. We'll see if he goes for another Rax opening after being behind on every single Rax opening so far. Is he going to bite the bullet and try to do something else? I do believe so, and I think this is actually a very good idea. bScherm has gotten the better of him every single time so far in this series. 2 out of 2 times in that Raider War. And so Avocadolord saying, you know what? You win this one. I'll go try to do something else. I think that's a very smart play from avocadolord. We'll see if it's able to pan out for him. Looks like he's going to go for a castle first on Thieves' Isle. Doesn't need to send his worker. There we go. bScherm saying, if it ain't fixed, just... oh my goodness, I messed that up. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's going to go for a Raider Expand, if I'm not mistaken. He does have his racks... Okay. I was saying he does have his Rax rally backwards, but never mind. One thing that you can do is actually you can rally your Raider here and then flash over so that it doesn't have to go all the way around. It's going to arrive significantly faster than it normally would. bScherm also scouting around. You know, if he is going to scout around, I wouldn't mind scouting like this side over here. You can also proxy buildings in this lower hand side as well. Just a heads up. Avocadolord is going to go for that castle first into 2 den, I assume? Where's that second den? Where's that second worker for the second den is my question. Is he just... Okay, he's just going to build it on the high ground, it seems like. I would have preferred this to be on the low ground just to help with the SimCity, but not a huge issue. He already has a bit of a wall, so I don't think that's the end of the world here. bScherm playing very passive, expecting potentially the same Raider situation as last game, does mean that he won't be able to do that initial harassment that is so important in this build matchup. So this is one of those detriments or the downsides of going for this, oh, I'll keep this Raider at home sort of style. It can work against that Raider play of your opponent, but if they're going to go for something like this, where he went for a FE2 den, that does mean that your harassment is going to hit much later. And that does mean Avocadolord is completely unperturbed and is going to essentially get away with murder here. Is getting away with FE210. Generally, when this happens against this build, you're on the back side a little bit. You're trying to defend. You have to pull workers. You take some damage. It's a little bit of chaos. But in this case, so far, looking pretty good. Gonna go for a fortress. Might lose this wolf if bScherm does micro his raiders correctly, and indeed he does. Some good raider control. Gonna get that wolf for free. So the other question is, does avocadolord potentially think that, oh no, it's a 2 racks? I don't think so. It could be something that, like this sort of thing you generally don't see if you're avocadolord, if you're anyone even, this sort of delayed raider. But I do think he's not overreacting, which is very nice. It's a good thing that avocadolord is using his wolves kind of passively in his mineral line. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to try to get this around with your workers and stuff. And that's the general idea. We also have a fortress out of bScherm. So that does mean we're going to have some dragon versus dragon wars. And DSL is actually a very good map to do that. Because of the dead airspace potentially, like here and here. That does mean that you can park your dragons there and nothing else can touch it. So the save all of ballista, can't actually reach into, like, they don't have the range to shoot the dragons in the dead space. That's why it's dead space. And that will mean that those dragons are going to be much better on this map compared to some other maps such as Ravaged. I do want to know, he went for an archer before that third raider, so this raider pressure is actually not going to be as strong as it could have been. Good pullback micro out of avocadolord, pulling those weakened wolves towards the back. Does want to probably try to target down these weakened raiders instead of just moving. And yeah, so this sort of 60-ish damage, if that was done to the other 2 raiders, he might have been able to get one or even both of them. Unfortunately, did target the wrong raider there, so not ideal. Avocadolord has a single dragon's lair on the way. Very nice. And we also have one for bScherm, so I'm really curious to see if any of these players will go for more than just one. I don't know. So far, also, I do want to note, bScherm has had some excellent raider control throughout the entire series, and he's continuing to do that right now as well. Could probably even flash forward to get that. It does miss it, though. That's a little bit unfortunate. Avocadolord with this worker probably is going to try to get a third base. Okay, here's that Dragon's Lair for bScherm. Going to go up to 2 compared to the 1 of Avocadolord, so that is going to be an advantage in the air. These wolves still sharking around, trying to get that, trying to keep these raiders at bay. I do think this is still, enough raiders to actually push these wolves back. That's a bit of a mistake there out of bScherm, moving back to attack a little bit too prematurely. But still hasn't lost a raider, so that's very nice. We have that first dragon for avocadolord just starting right now. There you go. For those of you who don't know, that you can actually tell whether or not a dragon's lair is producing a dragon because of the egg. If there's an egg, it is producing. If not, it's not. I think more or less, I want to say every single building has that. Like it has the animation that tells you whether or not it's producing something or not. But yeah, this wolf, I like this wolf just going across the map in a sideways fashion. Gonna try to scout if there's a third base or not. And this is a lot of raiders. Honestly, avocadolord should not be chasing this. And I think bScherm can be a little bit more aggressive with them. But is going to be a little bit more passive a little bit too passive for my liking. He has 6 raiders. He has, 8 wolves. This is definitely a fight that you always want to take your bScherm. But that is the first dragon, and bScherm is going to try to flash out. I don't like that decision at all. I really do think that maybe he should have just tried to stay and try to do as much damage as possible. I guess he's thinking, okay, if I move back, then I can try to fight that dragon off with my dragons. and with my archer. This wolf coming in, gonna see the number of dragons there. It's gonna be 2, which is 1 more than him, and he's gonna throw down an advanced workshop. So not opting to go for a dragon mirror, instead gonna opt to go for a ballista, and probably more than 1 ballista to try to get that air control. And the key thing to note is that Avocadolord has a 3rd base. bScherm does not, and he needs to do damage, essentially. His raiders were doing pretty well in the early game, and also he does have that dragon advantage, but that doesn't mean too much, or it doesn't mean that's not enough if Avocadolord just gets a huge economic advantage. He needs to do a little bit more, in my opinion, does bScherm. Is going to get a 3rd base right now, but that is going to be delayed. These wolves now getting a very good fight. That raider is able to flash out, but you might be able to chase it down. A good target fire out of bScherm. Maybe you should have tried to do it with 2 wolves instead of just 1. Sorry, that was Avocadolord. I think I said bScherm by mistake. These wolves going to chase off until the end of time. This is basically buying time for Avocadolord to get his anti-air ready. So he's going to lose all these wolves, and that's obviously unfortunate. Maybe he tries to target down some of the units the best he can, but this is basically buying time, saying, I'm not ready for these dragons, but I will be in the future with this ballista. So right now, he's sacrificing army for time, and that's something that is always good to do if you know you can't just defend at all. So. And also, wolves are very expendable, so that's also a good thing. We have an advanced workshop out of bScherm at the same time. His 3rd base now completing. And we have 5. Why does bScherm actually have... Okay. It feels to me that bScherm should have had more dragons. Perhaps he missed a little bit of production. It might be true, or... I guess Avocadolord did get the earlier Dragon's Lair, so he should have a little bit more. But I feel like bScherm, yeah, he's not producing dragons right now, and he wasn't a few seconds ago. So he looks like he's just going to transition out of this, saying basically, okay, I hope you overextend or overdefend the air. This tower is going to finish just now, and that's going to help anchor this 3rd base position. The dragon's coming in. You do need to bring that dragon as well as this ballista into this fight, hopefully. That raider almost goes down, but does not quite. And also we have a good transition out of Avocadolord. We have werewolves dens on the way. 2 of them, in fact, along with a workshop. So this is going to be very interesting. Avocadolord going to go for a little bit of a more sophistication, a little bit of tech here. Whereas bScherm is just gonna, so far, just pump out dragons. Looks like he hasn't added any production structures as of just yet, or at least any additional ones. Just gonna have that 1 Rax and double dragon production. So I'm curious to see where bScherm will be going. Okay, and that kind of gives me the answer. It's gonna throw down another Rax, and it looks like he's gonna play some sort of Rax dragon hybrid. Sounds really interesting. Yeah, one thing that you can do with air control, if you have like the overwhelming amount of dragons, is that you can control, once you control the air, it allows you to do a whole bunch of like magic stuff with the airship, because once you control that sort of airspace, you also generally have many opportunities for your airship to get in and do a whole bunch of damage, whether that be catter drops or potentially werewolf drops and stuff like that. That's just something to note. We have dragons coming in versus the higher number of dragons for bScherm, so these dragons of Avocadolord are going to be forced to run away. We also have a ballista for bScherm as well, so that is very nice. I do think that bScherm did have an opportunity with these dragons. If he had continued building them, if he had continued to rally them across the map and try to find some damage, I feel like he would have been able to find some damage here and there. Yes, there are ballista out, but it was just like 1 ballista. Maybe he was able to like bounce from like the natural to the main, and then basically use that the air advantage and go to the dead space when he tries to bring the ballista in. bScherm is going to see this 4th base trying to go up as well as the standing army. And that means, I don't know if bScherm's going to try to go in. He's splitting his dragons. That's very nice. Kind of mitigate some of that splash damage from the ballista. But it's not quite there right now. We have we have a catapult and 2 big werewolves as well, so this is looking pretty good on the ground for Avocadolord. It's going to come down to can bScherm overwhelm on the air and then clean up in the ground. Is going to try to target down perhaps the werewolf, not the werewolves, the dragons and the ballista. That would probably be my play. The explosive shot has just kicked in, which means that this ballista is going to do some AoE damage. The ground army, surprisingly, actually is looking pretty good. Or at least it's looking a lot better than I thought it would. A lot of friendly fire damage, I think, out of those catapults. bScherm going to come in with those dragons, going to take down that airship. Very nice pick-off. Going to target down that ballista as well. And so the air battle goes to bScherm. That much is clear, right? And what can he do with this? He's going to have that air advantage. He's going to have essentially free damage on all of these retreating ground units, and that is a big factor in this sort of game, in this sort of map especially. So once you have air control, you really don't want to relinquish it at all. Gonna try to target down that weak dragon. Is gonna be able to... No, did misclick there. I thought if he did target that down, he would have been able to get it for sure, though. Is gonna be able to deny this 4th base, so very well done out of bScherm. Picking up, never mind. This sort of thing, I would have loved to see them pick them up and just try to go into a different angle. I think that would be excellent. And then essentially what you do is you do that, and then you bring your dragons with it, so that if you have more dragons, he can't chase you, right? So you pick up as soon as they come, and then it's just free damage. One thing I do want to criticize is bScherm is not going for a 4th base. I think he definitely has the opportunity to do so. He's also like being very passive. He has the advantage in the dragons like significantly. I'm not sure why he's not using these dragons right now. He's playing so passive with them. He has such a huge advantage right now. Like he should be like going here and there with those dragons, doing damage to all the mineral lines, you know, trying to pick off whatever they can. But he's going to play a lot more passive. He's going to try to reorganize his troops a little bit, which I don't mind. We have 2 dragons here for Avocadolord in the top. Not sure what they're doing at the moment. And once again, I would like to see bScherm just continue to go for that 4th base eventually as well. Good target fire out of bScherm here. Gonna get a handful of workers. Right now, the worker count is gonna be 39 to 32. Looks like bScherm gonna be a little bit behind, especially because the 3rd base was a little bit delayed, and so that's kind of to be expected. I'm gonna come in with this airship as well. It does lose a dragon to this tower. That's a little bit sloppy for sure. And it's just gonna pick up and leave. That did buy enough time for Avocadolord to get his 4th base. No 4th base in sight as of just yet for bScherm. He's going to go for werewolves of his own. Interesting. Okay, he's going to opt into that werewolf high-tech sort of style, it looks like. But I really think that bScherm could be doing so much more with these dragons. He's using them as more of a fighting unit, it seems like. He's using it as if it's his army. He's going to try to drop onto this. He's only going to get 2 of those units out, and they're instantly going to get decimated. I feel like these dragons, honestly, I'm saying it again and again, they could have been doing so much more. Going to try to target down these ballista, which is obviously the correct call. He's also losing his ballista at the same time, which is not ideal. Going to try to target down that airship. Great call as well. Now you got to target down. Yep, excellent. And if there is no anti-air, like I said, these dragons just reign supreme. They have nothing to contest them. Yes, there's double ballista production, and yes, they are, you know, coming eventually. But this is just like this army. Yeah, it just doesn't do anything. It's gonna try to walk across the map. I guess maybe they might be able to survive until the end of the to the other side of the map. Okay, he just decides, no, I'm just going to go back home. A good target fire out of bScherm. Going to take down that ballista, or sorry, not the ballista, the dragon there. Would like to see him maybe target down the workers instead. Huge shot there. That gets 3. Another dragon falls. Oh, that was just an absolute huge ballista shot. That was so much damage right there. Gonna try to target down the workers right now. He's gonna get quite a bit of splash damage, and another dragon falls. Yeah, I feel like once there's like a big enough number of ballista, these dragons don't really do much, and he's gonna be behind on the on the ground very significantly. There's a ton of werewolves here. There's still a smattering of catapults as well. This is the sort of thing that he should have been doing a long time ago when he had that air advantage and when there just wasn't enough ballista. But right now, if this army just gets across the map, there's really nothing to contest it, right? You can't really deal with this with your dragons because there's ballista here. I would have liked to see some workers being pulled for the repair as well. That would be very nice. This is going to be potentially huge with the Q fire explosive shot, but does not get it off. Good pullback out of bScherm here. bScherm is also once again only still on 3 bases. Hasn't been able to take his 4th. Good harassment over here by bScherm. Going to split off 2 dragons to do a little bit of harassment. There is a ballista nearby, and it was some good hold position out of avocadolord, so not too much damage going to be done. Yeah, so he's mined out from his main, which means he's gonna have to try to long distance mine for for now at this 4th base. So a little bit of a missed opportunity earlier on when I think he had the money. He could have definitely tried to go for that 4th base. avocadolord attempting to take this base in the middle of the map. He also wants to try to grab all these ballista before they can do too much. But there are 2 more coming in from that airship. That's going to be a lot of damage. Also, these units in the back were A-mood, which is not ideal. Going to try to target that down. Good hot pickup out of avocadolord. And as these dragons fall, as the ground army falls from bScherm as well, I think avocadolord has done it. I think he's been able to weather the dragon army. He's been able to, he's Hiccup. He's trained the dragon army and is just going to march through with a whole bunch of werewolves here. He just has way too much on the ground for all these dragons to be able to clean him up. And GG is called. That does mean that avocadolord is going to be your winner. Going to take this match 2-1. And let's take a look at what the Alpha League is shaping up to be. Here it is right now. avocadolord going to move up and going to play against the winner between Consciously Eating and Matthew Ed. That's going to be an exciting match. I probably should have put this in his name in here. Let me go do that right now. Oh, that's the wrong one. No, it's not. Sorry, a little bit of production value, whatever. avocadolord. There we go. Why is it bolded? Is it just me? Yeah, there we go. All right, so avocadolord is going to play against Consciously Eating or Matthew N, depending on who wins that match. And unfortunately for bScherm, that does mean that his time here at the Global Littlewargame League is at an end. So yeah, he played pretty well. Had some tough opponents. Did lose to Weird Rat. Did go 1-1 with Nigat. Was able to take that revenge match to get into the Alpha League. And then had a tough opponent in avocadolord. He played very well, though. He had some good raider control throughout the series. Got some good advantages in the early game, but unfortunately was not able to close it out. And that does mean that today's video is going to come to an end. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.